The price of Bitcoin is currently bumping up against a support level. In fact, it did it 5 times in the matter of the past week or so, including twice today. And just as I started recording this video, it decided to shoot up in a big green candle. So what is that going to have to do with the price of XRP? Well, a little bit, or maybe some of nothing. I'm going to tell you about a prediction, and not necessarily a baseless one, that talks about an XRP going to $20 to $30 at the peak of this market cycle. Now, many people are now capitulating and saying this market cycle could last the entire year of 2022. So I'm going to tell you about it in this video. Now, speaking of Bitcoin, we do have some more predictions by others that are thinking along the same lines. And Max Keiser, who is the biggest Bitcoin maximalist of them all, recently reiterated his prediction, even though he's not necessarily concerned overall with the price of Bitcoin. I'm going to tell you what he thinks it's actually going to do in 2022. And just in case you think that crypto is actually going to kind of fade away into a bear market this year, well, it's not going anywhere, at least in terms of the minds and the mouths of everybody, including the United States Congress. Well, recently, a member of the US Congress came out with a proposed bill that would put hard regulations onto stable coins and what the Fed can and can't do with it. And if you jumped into Bitcoin because you are a lover of that freedom money, well, then you're going to love to hear this. I'm going to tell you about it in this video. Hey everyone, my name is Randy. Welcome back to the Late Night Grind. And right now on this channel, I'm covering the Ripple versus the SEC case, but I'm also covering cryptocurrency news, investment markets, and personal finance. So if any or all those topics interest you, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification icon so YouTube will notify you when I release a new video. And if you're feeling generous, I'd really appreciate it if you hit that thumbs up button and watch this video all the way to the end. Those really are the 2 best things you can do to support a YouTube channel. So with those 2 things out of the way, let's jump into it. So first, let's start by talking about Bitcoin. Well, as of right now, it just jumped about $1,000 in a half hour before recording this video, which is very interesting because it was a major down day for US markets. Both the Dow and the S&P and the NASDAQ were all down huge. Even gold was down today. So to see Bitcoin pretty much flat the whole day and then rally later in the afternoon is really, really interesting to see. I'm going to have to go do some digging into some of the macroeconomic elements and to see if there may be some short squeezes that actually happen to trigger those big green candles. But nonetheless, Max Keiser, who is the biggest Bitcoin maximalist there is, reiterated his prediction of Bitcoin for 2022, in that he is now predicting Bitcoin to be somewhere in the neighborhood of $220,000 at some point in 2022. Now, he, like many other people, got some of the predictions from 2021 wrong. However, some people think that there were some black swan events going on in 2021 that really affected things. Well, nonetheless, he was citing some of the macroeconomic issues specifically in the United States that points to why people are actually going to move into Bitcoin in 2022. And speaking of Bitcoin predictions, there's really only one prediction that so far has stood up to the test of time. And if you watch my channel ever since, July, August, maybe September of last year, you would know that I talk a lot about lengthening market cycles because I subscribe to what Benjamin Cowen has been speaking about for the past 6 months or so regarding lengthening market cycles, that this 4-year peak doesn't necessarily have to happen. And in fact, if you've done the studies, it shows that each market cycle has been actually progressively getting longer and longer. And the fact that it rolls into 2022 is no surprise, at least to Benjamin Cowen and a few others that subscribe to that theory. Now, not only would that actually have to happen to hit Max Keiser's prediction, that would actually have to happen in order to hit Credible Crypto's prediction for XRP. That's right, his prediction for XRP it was originally $20 to $30 for the end of 2021. Now, him, among others, have predicted that number for a little while now, specifically citing the blow-off top of this market cycle that just didn't happen or didn't happen yet. The other thing is the Ripple versus the SEC case that is obviously suppressing a lot of the price, specifically in the US market. And a lot of people think that once this case is resolved, of course, XRP is going to go ahead and explode. Well, if you watch one of my previous videos talking about the case, Jeremy Hogan specifically says he thinks this case isn't going to get resolved until September or October of 2022. Well, that might end up perfect timing for this lengthening market cycle and a blow-off top for Bitcoin of 220,000 later on this year. In fact, some people are now even saying that the Bitcoin blow-off top probably won't even happen until November or December of 2022. Now, all that to say, a lot of the predictions that I've seen for both Bitcoin and XRP and a lot of the other tokens really just took their predictions and moved them to this year, all because Bitcoin has been up against a support that it's been bouncing off of, and many are citing the big macroeconomic issues that could be pushing a lot more people and institutions into Bitcoin in 2022. But let me know in the comment section below what you think is actually going to happen? What is your prediction? Now, some of that prediction might be based on what the United States Congress is actually saying about cryptocurrencies. Well, there is one specific congressman, his name is Tom Emmer, and he put together a potential bill, a potential legislative bill that might be voted on that could dramatically affect how central bank digital currencies are used and regulated by the federal government. That is the digital dollar, the central bank digital currency controlled by the US federal treasury. Now, if that scares you, it should, because if you watch this video, and especially a lot of other YouTubers that talk about CBDCs, that talk about programmable money that's controlled by the government or any entity, and that it's extremely dangerous, I fall into that camp as well. So this bill is going to change things if it gets passed. So let me tell you about what he's actually attempting to do. He is attempting to make it illegal for the Federal Reserve to actually specifically issue stablecoins or even digital assets directly to individuals. Now, he does say it should be open, it should be permissionless, and it should be opt-in only, not forced. So I'm going to tell you about what this bill says. I'm actually going to read from his website directly about why he's introducing this bill and what he hopes to accomplish with it. Today, Congressman Tom Emmer introduced a bill prohibiting the Federal Reserve from issuing a central bank digital currency directly to individuals. As other countries like China develop CBDCs that fundamentally omit the benefits and protections of cash, it is more important than ever to ensure the United States digital currency policy protects financial privacy, maintains the dollar's dominance, and cultivates innovation. CBDCs that fail to adhere to these three basic principles could enable an entity like the Federal Reserve to mobilize itself into a retail bank, collect personally identifiable information, track their transactions indefinitely, and not only would CBDC model centralize Americans' financial information, leaving it vulnerable to attack, but it could also be used as a surveillance tool that Americans should never tolerate from their own government. Requiring users to open up an account at the Fed to access a US CBDC would put the Fed on an insidious path akin to China's digital authoritarianism. Regardless, any CBDC implemented by the Fed must be open, permissionless, and private. This means that any digital dollar must be accessible to all, transact on a blockchain that is transparent to all, and maintain the privacy elements of cash. In order to maintain the dollar's status as the world's reserve currency in a digital age, it is important that the United States lead with posture and prioritize innovation that does not aim to compete with the private sector. So that is his take on it, and I think it is absolutely spot on. So I actually went to take a look and read the bill, and I expected a 12 to 20 page PDF. Nope. In fact, it's just a one-page PDF. In fact, it's only about 4 sentences. Specifically, there's only the addition of a couple of extra sentences. So here it is. Section 13 of the Federal Reserve Act is amended by adding at the end of the following a new paragraph. Except as specifically authorized under this act, a Federal Reserve Bank may not offer products or services directly to an individual, maintain an account on behalf of an individual, or issue a central bank digital currency directly to an individual. That's it. That's the bill. But that alone would put major privacy protections in the hands of the US citizens or anybody using this central bank digital currency. This is a step in the right direction. This needs to be supported by Congress. So that's it for today. Let me know in the comment section below what you think about the prediction for Bitcoin, XRP, and possibly the central bank digital currency bill that would not enable the Fed to rule monetary governance for the US people. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching all the way to the end, for giving it a big thumbs up, and as always, I'll see you guys on the next video.